snapping morning. Get your mats. Ah! Get your weights. Get your chair. If you're doing chair exercises, line up if you're walking wall to wall. Let's get, hey, jump on your bike. Start your treadmill. Yeah! Oh my! That's the wonderful, the marvelous. Ron Jackson on the guitars, honey. Ron Jackson. Oh, no matter what I do, this always come up out of frame showing the background on FB. I'm trying to give an illusion of being on the beach, and now I have the fan and it's blowing. Great riders, and thanks for coming on the walk, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Y'all, I got the fan on. I ain't playing with nobody. Oof. I didn't go skating last night, so I don't know what the excuse is that I'm sore. Okay, I have this fan right on me, and it's cold. And it's right on my legs, and it's cold. And it's cold. Thanks for coming on the walk. Okay, let me go right into part 2. So, before I go back down south, let me go how I got down south into the Baptist. Before I got to the Baptist, I ran into the Muslims. The Elijah Muhammad Muslims, that cult. They're all cults. Just don't come on the walk with me. Or just turn the volume down. Yes. And I didn't know his reason for getting me there, taking me to live with him, which I'm grateful for, don't get me wrong. Because I was basically living by myself, the way my aunt used to go out and be gone for days. Anyway, I didn't know that he wanted someone to help his wife with the 4 kids. Now, I've thought about that over the years, and had he been a kinder person to his wife, I think I would have stayed with the family. I really do. Because I love my stepmother. Still do. She comes back and forth. I feel her energy. I love my stepmother. And I love my sisters and my brothers. But my father was in this cult. The bow tie Muslim cult. Elijah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I need to take these things and do side-eye. I need to go through and get all my side-eyes and do a short. And put the music in. Side-eye, side-eye. Anyway. He was not kind to her. He was abusive. Now, over the years when I thought back, I would say, no wonder my mother didn't stay with him. He said it was just a one-night thing and he moved on. But I kind of know why he moved on. You couldn't hit my mother without her going berserk. Be freaking zerk. Be zerk. Crazy. Don't know when to stop. So I don't know women who I wasn't raised with women who got punched and didn't throw a punch back. I wasn't, the first 12 years of my life, that was my experience. Strong women. Women who drove, negotiated this, penal colony state of New York. And that's what I knew. That I moved in with my aunt. She was a lady of the night, a sex worker. And she was gone a lot. But when she came through, she took care of me. She made sure food was in the refrigerator. And I was okay. She went on about her business. So, the first time I saw my father punch my stepmother, I mean, I know it happens, but he snuck her. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. She didn't see it coming. She couldn't block. So then I said to myself, oh, that's why my mother and him ain't stay together. My mother would have tore his whole ass up. So I said, okay. And then, of course, my mother's energy said, remember, don't let no man put their hands on you. And now knowing what I know, for a 14-year-old, right moves. Okay, let me take it again. So, he terrorized the whole house. When I look at these annihilators and stuff like that, I say to myself, he just didn't go that far over. But after I left, I had a sister and a brother who kind of kept him in check. But that's not, that's not supposed to be life. But anyway, he was the man at his house. He paid the bills. Women were nothing besides making babies. They were stupid. Everything my stepmother said was dumb. I never heard him say, wow, Betty, that's some real good advice. Thank you, hon. We're working together here. No. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You're so dumb. And I was like, wow. So, I don't know. I think I ran away from them and had to turn around the ancestors and just go back and suck it up. And I remember going back, and I got in the shower, and the door burst open, and the shower curtain, and he was there with a belt. He swung it first, and I'm telling you, I love my ancestors. I don't know where it came from. I caught that strap wrapped around my face, and I yanked it. And I said, you will not hit me. Probably in the back of my head, I was like, Mom, you don't know what's doing. Mom. And the next thing I know, my grandmother from South Carolina is there. I wasn't going to be subservient. I didn't understand that man step on your whole family thing. I've noticed other cults have it. The Mormon cults have it. A lot of the deep Christian cults, they have that step on your family and keep stepping on them. If you disable the wife, you leave the kids defenseless. If you disable the wife in cults, you leave the children defenseless. If he can punch you across the room and you stay with him, or them kids don't see you go separate them, I said the right matter from the left matter, then your kids No, they ain't got nobody to save them, nobody to rescue them. They know they're next. And that's one thing my mother gave us. I mean, she was battling, but everybody knew she'd battle for us. So keep your hands up. Stay back. She would battle for us. So no matter what crazy situation we got in, or she got us in, we always knew she was gonna come through. And I couldn't understand my father in his call. I'm like, my mother just died, separate that energy, and you bring me here, and you're gonna hit this woman that you say is my mother, that has loved me, that has known me before I knew myself, and you are over here. Y'all know African Americans what I'm saying. Oh, you separate the right matter from the left matter. So I couldn't understand it. And my father, he used to push the narrative of his main thing: pork. Don't eat pork. Don't eat pork. All cults have something because it's just a form of control. Don't eat pork. And he used to buy the, oh gosh, what's the thing called? Oh boy. Something called. It was Elijah Muhammad's. I don't know Elijah Muhammad's. And his final call. And always in the final call, they would have a picture of pork and maggots on it. And it would say stuff like, if you ate pork, you would be eating maggots. And you would be eating maggots. And maggots come from pork. And that's why you can't do pork. I was like, oh. And that's why you stay away from pork. Well, like, we don't got no stomach acid to kill those things that get into our body. But I found out much later that maggots can only be made by flies. So if the fly land on the pork, it will leave maggots. So I saw that as trickery. I saw that as blatant trickery. If you want to say don't eat pork, say don't eat pork. But don't say pork makes maggots. Flies make maggots. So you see the bullshit right there, right? So that's how I wound up in South Carolina. I told him, no, we ain't doing this. And I think something happened on the lines that the last time he hauled off and blindsided my stepmother, he must have got the way I look at him. And African Americans, y'all know what I'm saying. I was saying to him, no, I'm going to jail. You got one more time to sneak up, and I'm going to sneak you with this cast iron front of you. That's my mother. You told me that's my mother. She said I'm your mother. You ain't going to be hitting on my mother. And just as a little segue, because we're getting ready to wrap up, I want to talk about that little 14-year-old boy. Adults get kids in a lot of shit. I want to put that out right there. Adults put kids in a lot of shit. I want to put that out right there. But I want to tell you right now, if that man, I don't care what my mother said to him, I don't give a shit what my mother said to him. If he'd have hauled off and punched my mother right there, they said 3 times or some craziness. No. The first time a chair would have been over that nigga's back, I'd have gave my mother enough time to get to that car and get right. And let her take care of that mutt, as Willie D calls him. So, no. He'd have hauled off and punched my mother like that. He'd have been mush on the ground. I'd have beat him with everything in that restaurant. I'd have started picking up people and beating him with the people. Do not, never, that's my attitude, put your hands on my mother. And sadly, I'm glad I stayed inside, because quite frankly, don't be putting your hand on a woman in front of me. Don't be doing it. I'm not a bystander. I am not a camera type person. I'm just going to take pictures. If I pick up that phone, it's 911, and I'm finna get something for you. Stop doing this bullshit. And again, back to Colts. Hold on. Y'all get y'all water. I'm walking, y'all. Trying to save my feet and toes. I said I'm walking now. Trying to save my feet and toes. 'Cause if I start walking now, Mr. Ron Jackson's on guitar. Yeah! A short water break, y'all. I'm walking, y'all. Ha ha ha! I done talked it through the break. Yeah, I don't have the fan because I can't open the window. The humidity is too much. We have dehumidifiers on, and it takes the moisture out the air, and this place is cool. I wouldn't say it's the North Pole. I said North Pole in the summertime. All right. So, I wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to come there and he was going to beat on me, the wife and me and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't having it. You said this is my family. I'm going to protect my family even if it's from you. Duh. So, anyway, that's what I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be a nice Muslim girl and subservient to my stepmother and to him. But he didn't know that I came from the blood of a Virginian. You people from Virginia know what I'm talking about. I told you my mother didn't take it. She did not take it. Even to the fact that she got the hell out of Virginia. So, he didn't know that part. But then I looked, and my grandmother was there. So, now, she's in a Christian cult. On the point of the cults, the Muslims and the Christian cults they agree as far as suppression women are concerned. So, basically, she was supposed to break me. And all you African Americans in the North and the West and stuff that's going to send your child down south to be broken and don't want to know how they're going to be broken, y'all need to go back to the first part of cults. Anyway, on this, you're not walk. Anyway. So, I got down there, and I didn't know that women were the cause of everything evil, bad, vile of the world. I didn't know this earth would be a candy land, or they said Garden is Eden, If it wasn't for women, my mother never told me that. The Lutheran cult she was in never said that. But the Muslims and the Southern Baptists, yes indeed they do. So I had to be broken. I also had dreams, ideas, and ambitions. And again, I had to be broken. Now, years later, now, I understand why I'm not close to my father's side of the family like that. When I just call and try to check with my sister's brothers, or I call them and they wouldn't call me back for years, and I don't even know if they remember talking to me. But now I know why. And I would say stuff to my father. And sometimes I say, do you have their phone number? Do you know? And sometimes they would. Sometimes they wouldn't. When they would, I would call. They'd never call me back. When they didn't, I didn't call. But basically, I was a pariah. I was a bastard when I forced my mother and father to have me. And then I was one that was independent and strong. I told you the first time my husband said he gonna give me one of these. I didn't sleep for 2 nights, and neither did he, for fear that he would wake up dead. I stayed up for fear that I was going to go to jail. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. And I kind of understood living with my father and living with my grandmother. I kind of understood that I was persona non grata in the cults, because the cult's whole thing is suppressing women. And I was out doing my thing, writing my plays, going to my classes, dreaming, teaching my daughter, taking her places, just a independent woman. And both the cults, they didn't like that. I was raised by a Virginian. My mother drove with 2 feet, and I asked her why. She said, I can drive anything. That's what she drove with 2 feet. She drove tractors. She drove all the farm equipment. She could drive all the trucks. They were Virginian. My grandfather was a sharecropper. Until that didn't work, then he was sharecropping and bootlegging on the side. So anyway, came from a strong Virginian. And the reason why my aunts, there's 4 of them, the reason why they had to do all the stuff that men would do on the farm was because the 2 sons that came first to my grandfather died from tuberculosis. They were in their 20s. So my grandfather basically took his girls and said, listen, y'all got to help with the farm. So that's what they did. But it was sharecropping, and there was nothing but a dead end. So that was my mother. That's how she was strong. And both cults didn't like it. So not only do I get down there and I want school, that's not a cult favorite. I wanted freedom. That's not a cult favorite. And they had to break me. So how they do it in cults, and that's how I found the Leah remedy. Yes, Leah. Yes, Leah, good energy sent to you all the time. Good protective energy sent to you all the time. Whew. Open my eyes. what they do is they get the younger kids to start fighting you. Fighting, 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 fighting. Especially the girls. And then you run to the boys who aren't fighting you to help with the girls. See the grooming part? The boys aren't going to help me. They're not there to help me. The whole thing is done to drive me to them. So now I'm thinking that my boy cousins who don't fight me at all can save me from their crazy sisters. It was the way to drive me to them. So the next thing, because I'm not breaking, I'm going to school, I'm singing in the choir, I'm talking about going to college. All no-nos. I wasn't broken yet. Wasn't broken. So then, my girl cousins, they were all in the room together, they started fighting me. I mean fighting. In the middle of the night, I'd be kicked onto the floor. I'd wake up, throwing blows, blocking blows, until finally, according to plan, I was out of the girls' room and on a cot in the dining room, away from everyone in the house, in the front of the house. And after that first assault and beating, they broke the sister. Because I needed God. I needed Jesus. Why? To stop the assaults. So I became a good prayer. I became an obedient woman because I was praying to the empty vessel to stop the assaults. But that's what it was. So it broke me. But the ancestors ain't let me down. I was volunteering. Because remember, I saw my grandmother's good side where she would back me. She always wanted to be a nurse. So she liked to see me in my little candy striped uniform. So I was able to grow and learn and be around educated people nonetheless. But they were still breaking me. And I would come home and become this subservient person, scared, almost like my stepmother, never knowing when I'd be blindsided. And my mother kept saying, this is not forever. This is not forever. Just go to school. You just go to school, get your education, get your tailbone out of there. He was like, we got you. So, after that, I told y'all about the incident with the nasty cult leader sticking his tongue down my throat. Sorry, Facebook. I know we almost at the end of the walk and I just noticed, you know, sticking his own nasty tongue down my throat. But through that, incesting, beatings, the love of Jesus showing through. So, as I got older and on my own, it was very ingrained in me. I couldn't go and sit in the church, not really. I was like 55 when me and my daughter Went to my girlfriend Ethel's church, but that's a whole nother story, a lesson in itself. But I had to come up out of that. I had to it's just so hard to get that indoctrination out of you. But what didn't stick was the fact that I was a weak woman. That's where that Virginian came through. That Virginian that can do anything, conquer any mountain and all that stuff. That's that blood inside me. In addition to the Geechee side that is more connected to Africa. So I'm covered. I don't know how to take a punch from a man. I know he gonna be unlike this, and he know I'm all right for him. Tucking your elbow, not up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6. That's the one for good luck. I'm only doing 5. Whew. Suck in your gut. Tuck in your elbow. Neither up nor down. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew. The way I was tossing that furniture yesterday, my daughter said she was going to mop my floor if I cleaned it in. Whew. I was grateful for these, honey. Yeah. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. And that's grooming, y'all. That's grooming. And that's them cults on this penal colony. The main thing is to step on women. And my daughter was in her late 30s the first time she and I, and a long time other than going to a program, shared a pew together. Because I'm not going to introduce her to anything that says because of her makeup and who she is less than. I'm not going to take a son to sit and be taught. Shout out to the Rotors. Shout out to the Rotors. To sit there and learn that women are nothing. So, that was my grooming. I know we're going to talk about next. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.